Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. We are back again. This time it's the final word on Portugal 1, Republic of Ireland 0. And I'm joined in studio by Theo Fitzgibbon, a songwriter and
Yes, sir.
musician.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, a big fan of the Irish Football Fan TV podcast and channel, so I decided we spoke last month to get you in. So here you are, you're a man of your word, and you've come in. Let's get straight into it. I mean, look, we know it's a tough result to take, but let's talk about the lineup starting off. I have the lineup here in front of me with Kelleher in goals, which we all expected, but the return of Seamus Coleman at wing back, Ryan Manning the other wing back there on the left hand side with O'Shea, O'Brien and Collins in the defensive three. And then we had in front of them Jason Malumbi came back in to the team instead of Jason Knight, and Josh Cullen was alongside him. And then we had Festi Abizelli and Chidozie Ogbeni joining up the attack then with Evan Ferguson. When you initially saw the lineup, what were your thoughts on the team?
Nothing stood out. Like, I love the back line. You know, they're just so solid, so reliable. Like, I feel secure watching Nathan Collins, Jake O'Brien, Kelleher in goals. Like, that feels okay watching Ireland.
The nucleus of the kind of defence.
It feels secure. It feels like a good foundation, you know. The kind of gaping hole in the squad is in the middle of the park. I think if we had like I don't ask for much. Like, I'm not asking for a world class centre mid, but I feel like I backed Josh Cullen. I think I've seen him play some really good games. I think he's like a good continuity player. Like, he does the small things right over and over and over again, which is a very valuable asset to have. There's not a lot of players who can do the small things right over and over again. You know, he makes a lot of sensible choices on the pitch. But yeah, I'd love to have, if you could duplicate Josh Cullen, if you can get two of them, or just get another central midfielder in there with a bit of class, or a very good one. You know, I think that would make a huge difference.
What were your thoughts on Malumbi then coming back in? Because he was obviously dropped from the last squad, and he did a press conference saying that he was angry that he was left out. So what were your thoughts when you?
I think he's a goer. You know, like he is definitely a goer, but there are a couple of times, there's a few occasions on the pitch where he just looks like he gets I don't know, a little bit overwhelmed. Like, he makes, when he has option A, B or C, I sometimes I wonder what his, I question his decision making sometimes, you know. I just don't know if he's I've seen him play very good games, and you can see that he wants it, like, you know. But sometimes I've seen him on the pitch, and I'm just not 100% sure on him, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think, looking at the overall team, I mean, I was surprised to see Coleman come back in. I'm Seamus Coleman's number one fan, I might add, being Everton and Ireland. But, like, I understand that at the same time we needed some composure and leadership, and he certainly provided that, and we'll speak about that later on. But, I mean, the attack, I mean, there's no one that you really kind of leave out there. I thought you would go with like a 5-3-2, so that would leave us with two forwards. But in the midfield, like, he left out Finn Azaz, he left out he brought in Festi Abizelli, and they were almost like attacking midfield. There's not so much wide players because we had the wing backs as the wide players. But I mean, I thought it made sense. It was pace on the attack, on the counter attack, which was obviously what we were trying to do. And yeah, in the first 20 minutes, I mean, I thought we were, like, Malumbi surprised me in a positive way. I thought you spoke there about kind of players doing the small things right. I thought he did do the small things right in the first half, especially. I thought he was getting on the ball. I think he had a point to prove. A lot of people were saying he wasn't technically good, and then I think he had a point to prove, saying, like, he thinks that he is technically good. I think he did show signs that he could be a player that does that. What I like about Malumbi is that he can actually carry us up the pitch with the ball. A lot of times Cullen will just kind of get the ball and he'll just give it, whereas actually Malumbi will actually run with the ball and he'll win fouls, but he's not afraid of getting in people's faces as well. He's a bit of a bastard, which I like. Which I don't think people really see that too much with Jason Knight, and it's just because he's a bit quieter. Whereas I think Malumbi's a bit more animated, so you notice it a bit more. But I do think like, he was like for like in that position to bring in someone like that. So again,
he's a goer.
Yeah, but you bring that continuity into it. It is, that's why I imagine he was brought in there. But then it was like, two attacking midfielders. And I think the back three itself made sense. And I think Jake O'Brien probably had his best game for Ireland in his natural position of being a centre back.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, first 20 minutes. I mean, I thought Seamus Coleman,
so good.
Like at 37, he turned 37 on the day. I mean, and I spoke to Roberto Martinez the day before about Seamus, and he was saying, like, at the press conference, just saying how much he loved Seamus Coleman, and you kind of go back to, it was like 2013 when he had him, and now you fast forward 12 years after that in October 2025.
A ferocious leg break as well.
Yeah, and he had a bad injury as well against Leicester for Everton, which he kind of hasn't really been back in the team fully. He's just played bit part games, but I mean, to come in and put in the performance that he has, I thought everybody in the first 20 minutes looked quite well, but they had that one strike with Ronaldo hitting the inside of the post and Bernardo Silva, which I think woke us up, as if to say, okay, we need to be tighter there, not let any shots from that close out. You can have shots from distance, but not that, like we were blessed that hit the post. I also thought it was quite good by Kelleher that, if you look at how he moves his head out of the way very quickly, like, you can imagine how fast that ball travelled. That was a slow replay. And he gets his head out of the way really quickly. And actually, that's how I think Bernardo Silva misses. Because if that hits his head, it's, goes straight into our own goal. And that would have been just their luck. But, at that point, how are you feeling 20 minutes in? As I said, we were kind of frustrating them. We were trying to hit them hard in the counter-attack. And we were looking positive on the ball. And I thought we were quite composed on the ball as well.
I thought it was as good as we could ask for, but also in a weird way I wasn't surprised, because Ireland, we seem to have a weird habit of playing quite well against much better teams.
Yeah, like Coleman actually said that after the game. Yeah,
much better teams, and I don't know what that is. It's a really strange thing. Like, it's like the psychology of the team is very comfortable with being an underdog. That doesn't bother them at all, and. Yeah, like, what can you do against Portugal? This is what they did in the first 20 minutes, the first half an hour. That's all you can do, is you keep your shape, you keep your cool, you maintain smart possession when you can, and when you get the odd opportunity, hit them with pace,
Yeah.
And with the squad we have, you cannot ask for more than what we're doing in the first 30 minutes. Like, it's like physically,
I think that's bare minimum though for an Irish side, isn't it? What they did though.
Yeah,
like, in terms of, you want them to battle hard, get in the way of shots, bodies on the line. That's what we've been known for years. Yeah, it's always been what we've been known for. In the Trapattoni, it was that, we die to stop the ball from going in. You think of Richard Dunn against Russia, that type of stuff, and that's what, like, Nathan Collins was throwing himself in front of things. Totally. So was Jake O'Brien. He was bullying Bernardo Silva. At times, ushering balls out of play and stuff like that, and we just looked calm and relaxed. And we had a goalkeeper there who's a Premier League regular now. We've Seamus there. Like, the back line was, well, except for maybe O'Shea and Manning, but there was a lot of strong Premier League core there. Obviously Seamus is a veteran in the Premier League. Yeah. And Kelleher is actually only starting to come in as a number one now, but he has that Premier League experience, and Collins too. And Jake's had about a year of it now, really.
You could feel it. You could feel it in that back line. That experience,
Yeah, and I think that's starting to show with them now. And that's what, like, coming into the first half, it was, you're looking at it and you're saying, right, this is what we want to see. We want to see our players and maybe a chance falls to us. Now, the chance never fell to us in the first half, that you're thinking it was a clear-cut kind of chance for us to do anything. But, I mean, you're taking that first half performance into half time. What were your thoughts initially going in 0-0 against Portugal? Considering I only really kind of rate the Ronaldo shot and the miss by Bernardo Silva as the kind of real clear-cut chance. Other than that, the shots from distances for Bruno Fernandes and stuff like that, quite comfortable for Kelleher, and he was kind of doing that throughout the game. But at halftime, how were you feeling?
I was kind of paranoid, because I could just sense that it was Portugal were gonna win on a late winner. Okay. Felt like we were gonna hold out, and they were gonna nick a goal in the last 5-10 minutes. That's honestly how I was feeling. I felt like if we get two more half chances, 3 more half chances, we're doing very well, and we have to just take one of them. We just have to take one of them. Yeah, to be perfect. Yeah, and which, it's a lot of pressure when you kind of feel it when a half chance comes, because it could be the only one. That's how I was feeling at halftime, to be honest. Evan Ferguson, when he does get the ball on his feet, is class, but it just felt like the lads were struggling to get the ball out to him against that Portugal squad. Very good squad they're playing.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Well, I think they're the best in the world, being honest.
Me too. Yeah, personally. Me too.
But, like, the only thing I would say about our attackers is we just look very deer in the headlights sometimes, like basic first touch control and stuff like that kind of going out the window. You can see players getting frustrated at each other because they know that once we can get the ball and keep it in their half, it takes a bit of pressure off the defence. And you can imagine the defence were quite tired as the game went on because they were defending a lot of the ball. Now, to defend, like as a team, we defended really, really well. But I just thought there was times where we were kind of on the attack and our attackers in the wide spaces, or I say wide even though they were like attacking midfielders, but like Ebezeli and Ogbene, I just thought at times when they could run into space, they were kind of running towards their players.
Yeah.
And it was just like...
Obaseli, I thought was a problem going forward. I thought in the final third he looked like he lacked composure, you know?
Yeah, and I think... I don't know what that's from. Obviously, they're playing. He's
played twice or something this year in the league for...
No, he's played a few games now. He kind of picked up a lot of kind of performance. That's why he's back in the squad, because he's back playing like regular minutes. But I do think as well we need to take into consideration he is playing against the best left back in the world in Nuno Mendes and Evan Ferguson. You touched on there. He just didn't get the ball enough. Like we didn't get the ball to him. Yeah, and we were lumping balls up to him. The Portuguese players, there was two around him, and one would win the knock, win the ball. The other the midfielder would win the knock on. And then it was just kind of recycle as well. So I think even Hallgrimsson said today in the press conference that it wasn't fun for a striker to play in that game, and it wasn't. But at half time at 0-0, I think the general consensus in the stadium was that we hope we don't concede in the first 15 minutes, and we don't hope that another England performance doesn't happen like in Wembley where it was 5-0 after the half time. We'd done so well at 0-0. Sitting in and frustrating, but I do think I think a lot of credit has to go to the team, because in the second half we showed a lot of resilience. You know, they obviously came on with a lot more pressure. I thought we really got the best of Ronaldo every time he was getting on the ball. Our players were really rattling him into challenges and stuff like that and winning the ball off.
That shot he got off was just mental, like from nowhere. His foot went back about 6 inches or whatever, and he just snapped it. The amount of pace he got on the ball was crazy.
Yeah, well, he's just he
can do that, you know. But like aside from that, I think we squashed him, like, you know.
Yeah, I think even just getting into challenges and stuff like that in the second half, we didn't give him a minute. I mean, we brought on some subs. I know Mikey Johnston came on at one stage. Didn't think he had much of an impact on the game. They brought on a few subs as well. Troy Parrott came on late in the game. We'll come to that in a few minutes. But, you know, obviously the big talking point in the second half was the penalty. A lot of people don't think it was a penalty. A lot of people thought the ref...
What do you think?
From where I was sitting, I could see why it was given at the time. But when I see the replay, where is he supposed to move his hand? He's coming out to defend the ball. He literally can't. It's like the lower elbow's tucked into his. It's like touching his stomach, and it hits off him in the inside. It's not like it hits him on the outside. So he has no control over that ball. And VAR did nothing to help in that situation. So what were your initial thoughts?
I thought it was not a chance in hell. It was a penalty. No way. And it was a great save by Kelleher. I know.
Oh, well, brilliant.
It was a kind of a maybe not the best. What do you call that little chip? A Panenka, is it?
Yeah.
It wasn't the best Panenka, but he still had to arch his leg up in a kind of strange acrobatic kind of way to get a foot.
He got a great. He met the ball well.
He did.
He got a lot of meat on it.
Yeah.
I just felt like it didn't look as amazing as a save in real time, but when you watch the replay, you're like, wow, because he got a lot of meat on. You could see by the celebration of the defenders, O'Brien, Collins, Coleman, all running over to him. I'm not sure what Malumbi got booked for. I couldn't see the replay on that one, but I know he got booked.
Did he? Yeah, I missed that.
I think he was just rattling the Portugal players. But I mean, like at that stage, you're thinking we might get a result. You know, you're coming into that stage of the game, we might get the result, and we're hanging on into the late stages of the game. And then of course Seamus Coleman comes off, who basically had said that he didn't want to come off, but he came on for John Egan, which in theory made sense, but maybe not that late in the game to take off just if you think of you spoke at the start about continuity. I think if you keep the continuity of the defence, and if you make changes in attack, don't think it affects you as much. But when you take out your kind of main leader, I know we brought on John Egan as another leader, but
is he always playing full 90 minutes for Everton?
Coleman, no, he hasn't been playing at all. But he said like afterwards he was fine. Look, there might have been a thought with the Armenia game in a couple of days. But I don't think Seamus can play 2 games in quick succession. His body just breaks down.
Well, there you go.
It's not true. But I think what he was basically saying was, give me the 90 against Portugal and play someone else maybe maybe start John Egan and put O'Brien right back for Armenia for sake. You know,
O'Brien's looked good at right back when he's had to sub in. You know.
Yeah, for me, he's not a right back though. He's a centre half playing right back, and you can see that. And it's nothing against Jake. He's a super centre back, and you saw how good he played at centre back on against Portugal. I thought he was excellent. He's player of the match in the end by the FAI. And I think generally speaking, they usually I always think they pull them names out of a hat a lot of the time when they pick those players in a match. But on this occasion, it was just deserved. I would have given it to Seamus, but Jake equally as good in my opinion. I thought, look, to a man, I thought every single player done a shift. And that's, again, it's bare minimum stuff, but against one of the best teams in the world, I think you're looking at it and you're going, this is Portugal. We need everybody to put in a shift together. We don't need any egos. Not that there really is in the Irish team, I don't feel.
No.
So everyone putting it, like Nathan Collins has been slaughtered in the last international, Darragh O'Shea, Jake to an extent by some members of the media. Yeah, there was a lot of them like just really not getting the rub of the green, I would say. And then I'm looking at the kind of subs who came on. Troy Parrott came on, but again left frustrated, didn't get a lot of the ball. And then they get their winning goal, Ruben Neves header laid on, which was soul destroying in a sense.
It was, yeah. If you were talking about Evan Ferguson being isolated up front and how that once you get to the final third, in Portugal's final third, it just wasn't happening. The possession wasn't there, the pace wasn't there, the decision making wasn't there. What tweak would you? What can change? What would you change to improve that final third of attack and play?
The only thing I would have maybe done was maybe try to get Finn Azaz on.
Yeah.
To maybe just like in that kind of midfield area, because it wasn't really working with Ogbene and Ebazeli, although they were good on the counter in terms of pace-wise to try and get at them. But their execution of the final ball, their decision-making and at the crucial moments just wasn't... Well, you spoke about composure. I think that it comes down to they weren't composed when we needed them to be.
That's
at
what
the
separates
key times.
the good players from the very, very good players.
Yeah, and you look at how technically good Portugal are. I mean, they just don't really lose the ball.
No.
So when you have the ball, you need to try and make it stick. That's what, look, I don't want to really go on about Everton too much here, but you can see that when...
But you're an Everton fan,
but you see it with Jack Grealish when he plays for Everton. He takes the ball up the field for Everton and he gives the defence a break. And it's something that Everton fans haven't really had in a long, long time. And I think if we had a player who could draw in fouls and stuff like that, I don't think Azaz is the man. That's our problem in our squad.
That's where you need the class players. Do you know what I mean?
But they don't, they don't come in a factory. You can't transfer them in. That's the problem, isn't it? I mean, you think of Kieran and Dewsbury Hall at Everton who can play for Everton, but whether or not they've tried to go out and get him, you won't get him in this international campaign. But like, he could be someone that...
Is he?
Yeah, he qualifies for Ireland, but whether he plays for us or not is a different story. But we've been kind of banging the drum to find out like what is going on with that situation, because he's like that attacking midfield player who is that level above and who has that composure.
That's it.
And I think that's what Ireland are crying out. I think Evan Ferguson has the composure in that sense, and Troy Parrott, but up front. But they need someone delivering the service to them,
100%.
And that's unfortunately where we lack. So you're asking what tweaks I would make there. I mean,
you need a magic wand, really, don't you?
There's not money. Like, to be fair to the manager, he took a lot of stick in the last window. I thought if we had got a 0-0 here, it would have been a masterstroke from him. People were saying it wasn't a good performance overall because we had no shots on target and stuff like that. But I don't think people realise that these just beat Spain, the Euro champions, in the Nations League final. Like, so for me at the moment, I think Portugal are the best team in the world. I think their squad's unbelievable. I know they're heavily reliant on Ronaldo because Martinez won't drop him. But if you actually look at the rest of their squad, they have an unbelievable squad.
I know, yeah. It's
some of the best players in the world in their positions. Nuno Mendes, Vitinha.
Just goes
PSG.
on and on.
Yeah, we could hear all day, listen to the names. And even when I was in training, looking at them, I was mesmerised looking at them. So I can only imagine what it was like playing against them. And a lot of people, obviously, they think, Ronaldo and that. But I do think, like, to a man, looking at it, 1-0, it's a respectable scoreline, which you all wanted. So that was one positive. And the second positive was, like, our composer. We did try to play when we had the ball. We did try to keep the ball when we had play, and they have like some really good players. I think João Palhinha, he's obviously at Spurs now. I think he's a brilliant player as well, and he just breaks up a lot of play. He didn't get bought by Bayern Munich for nothing last year. I know he didn't have the best of seasons, and now he's on loan at Spurs, but they just have class players all over. And when they take off a player, their talent pool isn't lesser. No. It's either like an equally talented player or higher.
Yeah. So, their bench is ridiculous.
Yeah, so look, and then we kind of look at, like, they scored their goal. It's deflation, but
What drills were they doing when you saw them in training, just out of curiosity?
Oh, you only see the first 15 minutes. You don't see any drills. You just see them jogging from side to side. Oh, yeah. You don't see anything of note. But look, overall, your thoughts at 1-0, as deflating as it was.
It was just painful that they got it in the last minute. And like I said, I was paranoid at half time. And come 80 minutes, 85 minutes, I was almost certain it was coming. There's only so much you can hold out against that kind of squad, and I thought the first half an hour, I was just glad to see a system in play. I was glad to see continuity. I was glad to see composure. I thought Seamus Coleman and O'Brien, and when O'Brien and Seamus Coleman linked up and got a third man to get involved to get out of that hole, it was really good. It was really it was proper football, It
was happening a few times. It wasn't just a once off.
Yeah.
Josh Cullen was good actually at opening up and then taking the ball and switching the play.
Yeah,
which is kind of which again it comes down to doing the basics that we wanted, right? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So let's hope they can just get their shit together. Sorry, can I curse? Yeah,
go ahead.
Let's hope they can get their shit together against Armenia.
Yeah.
Like what happened last time? Holy. Anyway, now that's the next segment.
No, but like that kind of just brings us kind of onto the end. Is that like we need, like, as deflating as that was, we need the players to bounce back. There's going to be a lot of pressure on this Armenia game, and we're going to be talking about it separately in the match preview. But how crucial is it for these players to pick themselves up, and do you believe they can?
Yeah, 100%. That performance against Armenia, I'm sure in their heads they're going to be thinking, we are so much better than that. What the fuck was that? They're not going to. It wasn't a reflection on them as players. It was a diabolical performance from a team that absolutely should and must do way better, like a million times better than that. It was a diabolical against Armenia, and I don't know what happened, and I think 100% they are going to go in confident and wanting to win the thing. Of course, like I was out saying, but I don't know. Yeah, I think. Just looking at the first half hour, 40 minutes of the Portugal game, it's like I said though, Ireland are comfortable against better teams, and that's what I'm not sure. I don't understand what happens when we play a lesser team. Why can't we just, slit their throats? Why can't we just go in for the kill?
I think that comes down to a lack of quality in the attacking third. And I know some of them, they watch the show and stuff like that, and they don't take kindly when we say things like that. But ultimately, the action speaks louder than words, and they got to prove to us that they can do it. So I think that's on them to do that. But I think we'll leave it there on the final word. Huge thanks to Theo for joining us. Theo, where can people find you on social media?
All the good stuff: Instagram, TikTok. I've forgotten my handle now. I think it's either my name's Theo Fitzgibbon. If you type that in, you'll find me. There's only one Theo Fitzgibbon in the world. So Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Play my tunes if you like.
Yeah, you even have your own chant. There's only one Theo Fitzgibbon. That's what
there's only we'll get that chant going.
But yeah, let us know what you think in the comments on the game. I know a lot of people weren't happy with the referee as well, so we tried to not speak about him too much in this. But let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. We'll speak to you soon. Thanks for watching.